All right, so Kaizo Ironmon ability tier list. So a few things first, like you have to remember it's pretty hard to give a very definitive answer for a lot of these abilities because they're very situational. So depending on what mon you have and your spread and things like that, it's going to be, potentially like huge power could be the best thing ever. It could be the worst thing ever. Like if you have a mega attack stat, so things like that. So take it with a pinch of salt, but we're going to do our best here. So S tier is going to be things that are just always amazing, like run-defining abilities. A tier is going to be things that, provide function, actively help you, but they might not, be run-defining. B tier is going to be things that provide like a small amount of benefit. C is going to be things that don't really do anything for you, but they don't actively harm you. F is going to be things that, make you, like, just ruin the run. And then D might be things that, are slightly subpar, but you can still get a run going with them. So we'll just go in order. We'll just follow the order here. So airlock. Airlock makes it so weather is invalidated. So I actually personally put a lot of value on airlock. Hail and sand can be really, really devastating. If you go into a battle and the first Pokemon that comes out has one of those abilities, you can, get whittled down really badly. So I think airlock might be an A tier ability. Yes, you might have the fringe case where having like drought active while you have, solar beam or something comes up. But generally, I think airlock is mostly a positive. I think that sand and hail are pretty irritating. You guys reckon C tier? Really? What's up, Mirko? I'm willing to meet in the middle on B tier. We might move it around. It's not C. It's not C. It always does something. And yeah, I think not taking chip damage is a really big deal. We'll go B then. So we'll start with that on B. All right, this one's easy. Battle armor is the best ability. Straight up. Battle armor and shell armor are just absolutely absurd. So we're going to put those two top of S tier. Being able to completely nullify crits for the entire run is unbelievably good. Never having to play around crits defines your run entirely because you can make such good decisions based around the fact that you're not just going to get, randomly crit and killed. So there is no better ability than battle armor and shell armor. They are always good and they just define the run. Blaze can very, very rarely do something, but that's going in D tier. It doesn't actively harm the run. There's a very, very fringe case where, you can proc Blaze and do more damage with fire move. But let's be honest, Blaze is very, very rarely going to proc, and it's not really going to do much for you. Chlorophyll makes you faster during the sun, right? Isn't chlorophyll the equivalent of Swift Swim for the sun? So let's be real, you're not going to be encountering drought very often. Very, very rarely. Doesn't actively harm you, but it's not exactly going to do much for you. I think we can safely put this in D tier. I would say chlorophyll has probably more function than Blaze. I'd say you're going to see chlorophyll work in your favor more often than Blaze, but very rarely is it going to do anything. All right, here's a good one. Clear Body. I would say S tier. What do you guys reckon? Clear Body means you can never have your stats reduced, which is crazy. It's a fantastic ability, especially for physical attackers. Physical attackers in Kaizo, where you can't switch out after you get intimidated. Like, being able to not be intimidated is such a big deal. Most of you think S tier as well? Yeah, I think just the value of never having to worry about Intimidate, never having to worry about Sand Attack, Smokescreen, all those really annoying moves. It's nowhere near as good as Battle Armor or Shell Armor, but it's fantastic. It really, really is. Cloud9 is the same as Airlock. It's exactly the same thing. And again, I think the ability to nullify weather is really strong. Color change. Now, this is a controversial one. When I first joined the Ironmon community, color change was a complete meme, and people were basically, you would get a color change mon, and people would be like, runs over, runs dead. I think, like some of you guys are saying, it depends. If you get, let's say, Kraydilly has like 6 really bad weaknesses. If you color change on that Claydol, like Claydol or Aerodactyl or something, like a Pokemon that has really bad weaknesses, color change can make that mon significantly better. Yeah, it's extremely situational. What do you guys reckon about C tier? I would say color change is extremely variable. This is one of those ones it's really hard to rate because on Shiftry or something, it could be really solid. On, let's say, Arcanine, it basically makes it useless. So yeah, you guys reckon C? I think color change is a really tricky one. It's so situational. Here is one of the most popular ones, Compound Eyes. So Compound Eyes is a little bit tricky because if you happen to pull a moveset that is 100% accurate, Compound Eyes doesn't do much for you at all. It still covers you for accuracy reductions, but I don't think I can make Compound Eyes S tier. I would say A tier would be a good place for Compound Eyes. What do you guys think about that? Because Compound Eyes can be run defining. If you pull, Fire Blast and stuff like that, Thunder, it can be really, really good. But odds are, a lot of the time, you're going to be spamming your best move, which is 100% accurate. So Compound Eyes isn't always going to be quite as effective as like Clear Body or something. Q-Charm, this one's pretty bad. Like, the rare time it procs, it's a one in, so you have to have a Pokemon be the opposite gender to you. And there's a lot of genderless Pokemon in the, like, the scary tier of, like, legendaries and stuff. And then it's only a 1 in 3 chance for it to proc. And then when it does proc, it's only a 50-50 chance for it to benefit you. So it's not F tier. It doesn't actively harm the run. Like Q-Charm, it doesn't harm the run. But it doesn't do much for you either. I would say Q-Charm is probably better than Blaze, but worse than Chlorophyll. You reckon C theory? I would say it's either... I would be... You think it's better than Chlorophyll? I guess Chlorophyll, you really are just relying on the sun. High D? Okay. We'll go here then. That's fine. All right, Damp. In Kaizo, Damp is pretty damn good. Not having to worry about explosion or self-destruct is just nice. It's one of those things, like, if you're running, like, a Rockmon or something, or, a Ghost that doesn't have to worry about explosion, like, it's useless. But on a lot of Pokemon, not having to play around, just getting, stab explosion is really, really good. I don't know if I can justify putting it in A tier. Aftermath doesn't exist in Gen 3, and we're doing the Gen 3 tier list at the moment. Doesn't prevent Memento, no. I think it would be pretty excessive to call this an A tier ability. I would say this is one of the best Bs. One of the best B tier abilities, in my opinion. Saved your butt very often. Yeah, I mean, it might, situationally it can do. Yeah, I would say high B would make sense to me. All right, these two are, these two are cut from the same cloth. Drizzle and Drought. Drizzle and Drought. So, again, like, you could, you have the chance that they're actively harmful to you. If you roll a camera up and it has Drizzle, then yeah, your Pokemon is invalid and useless. So they can be really, really bad. In the best case scenario, on a Pokemon that, like, it could give a normal mon an extra stab. You guys reckon C? Yeah, they're very. It's like color change. They're very very situational. Do you guys think they're better than color change though? I would say they probably have more function than color change most of the time. Color change is only good on a set number of mons. Fairly often, you can at least benefit from like an extra stab from Drizzle and Drought. Now, the real question is, which one is better, Drizzle or Drought? I would be inclined to say Drizzle is better because water covers a lot of things. And the thunder function can be really good too. Also, it's very situational, but also like fire moves are really scary. Drought better than Drizzle, as most times you have shed coverage. I mean, Drought functions with Solar Beam and fire moves. Drizzle functions with thunder and water moves. I think incoming fire moves are very scary, so it really depends. In my opinion, I think I've seen Drizzle often be better just because incoming fire moves are really scary and outgoing water moves provide really good coverage. And fire moves on average are stronger than water moves. So I don't think it matters too much. I think they're pretty similar, but we're gonna go Drizzle over Drought here. Early Bird. So Early Bird is the one where you can be put to sleep, but you will wake up on the next turn. So Early Bird isn't quite as good as Insomnia. D tier. D tier. Bad C. I think it's either high D or bad C. Sleep, sleep is a pretty frustrating thing to deal with sometimes. Not D, lowering sleep. Yeah, I would say it's probably C. You go C. Yeah, I mean, this is confirmation bias, but I've always had a lot of sleep solutions whenever I play Ironmon. I always have a lot of awakenings and chesto berries. You just end up kind of drowning in them. So I do think sleep is one of the easier ones to deal with. I'd say it's better than color change just because it's consistently useful. Color change is situational. The other ones are situational. I'd say Early Bird is at least always going to, probably come in and do something. So I would say it's probably in the high end of C tier. All right. Now we have a pretty variable one, Effect Spore. Effect Spore doesn't proc all that often. It's a 1 in 3. And then you can get various statuses like Sleep and Burn. It's definitely not as good as Compound Eyes. It's better. It's not C tier. It's way better than Early Bird. Effect Spore is always going to be good. The AI does tend to use contact normal moves a lot. Decent until you get Synchronize. Yeah, I would say it's definitely probably in the B territory. I don't think it's as good as Damp. I think having Damp in the back pocket for for explosion stuff is really nice. What do you guys reckon about Effect Spore being better than Nullifying Weather? I think it either goes between Damp and the weather moves, or it goes below the weather moves. Low B. Below. Yeah, I think because these really do actively help you. They avoid chip damage. Okay, that sounds good to me. So below those. Flame Body is pretty similar to Effect Spore. I would say if they're hitting you with contact, then they're using most likely a physical move. So Flame Body is a chance to burn them, and burn is going to reduce the damage on that physical move. So I would say it's probably of similar territory to Effect Spore. I would probably be inclined to say Flame Body is better than Effect Spore personally. You have a little bit more consistency, you have a bit more of an idea. Same thing, slightly better. Yeah, I think it's probably slightly better than Effect Spore. Just a little bit. All right, Flash Fire. Flash Fire is one of those ones where it could be S tier on a Scissor or a Fortress. I think it's always good. Flash Fire is never bad to have because fire moves are really, really powerful. Yeah, on Scissor it's S tier. But if we're talking about in the general sense, I think I would say A rather than B. Top of B or low A. Yeah, I don't think we can say it's as good as Compound Eyes. I think Compound Eyes like can be crazy. Not better than Compound Eyes. Yeah, I think it's a very, very strong thing to have. Yeah, the being immune to burns besides Tri Attack is really good. And there are a lot of strong fire moves. I think on average it's probably slightly worse than Compound Eyes, but it's definitely an A tier ability. All right, this is Gen 3 Guts. Gen 3 Guts is worse than Gen 4 Guts. In Gen 3, if you get burned, Guts doesn't buff your damage properly. Oh no, I'm thinking of Facade Guts combo. So being statused to gain 1.5 times damage. Interesting. I mean, we're talking about Kaizo Ironmon, where you want to be unstatused as much as possible. You are going to spend most of the game spamming Pokemon centers. So, you know, in survival, there are situations where you want to be paralyzed and stuff. D. So if this Pokemon is status, its attack is 1.5 times, ignores burns halving effect. I think with how much worse physical attackers are in Kaizo compared to special attackers, and how rarely you'd want to be statused, I can't justify anything. It's worse than color change, in my opinion. Well, I will do that later, Johnny. It doesn't do anything harmful. I think it's probably, on average, worse than color change. I'd say it's better than Q-Charm, though. I would be happy putting it low C. Low C, high D. C is for things that generally do something. D is for things that very rarely do something. You're on average in a run, you're going to get statused a fair bit, and it might come in. It's either low C, high D. We might move it later. I think it's fine there for now. All right, this one's pretty easy. Huge power and pure power. They go in the S tier. They are just free stats. You may as well just see huge power and pure power as extra base stats. Isn't huge power banned? Not on mons below 400 BST. So on those mons, that is, and until we evo into it, like, okay, I mean, this is one of those ones. It's really tough because you're very, very rarely going to see these in action. But on something like a Sableye, a Mawile, a Delcatty, or a Beedrill, they are absolutely god tier. So, you know, these are extremely situational, but in the on the off chance you do have a mon that functions with them, like Sableye, they are absolutely busted. You are doubling your attack stat. You are gaining stats. So let's put them at the bottom of S tier because they're not going to be, you know, active very often. All right, this is an interesting one. Hustle. I would be inclined to put Hustle in F tier. Hustle, more often than not, is actively harming your run. You may get that very, very rare situation where you get like Hustle and Swift and Shadow Punch, but let's be honest, very rarely is that going to happen. So more often than not, Hustle's just going to lead you to missing and it's not going to be very useful. Hustle's just extremely situational. Accuracy in Kaizo is a huge deal. All right, Hypercutter. What's up, Quadra? Hypercutter is like a less good version of Clear Body. So Hypercutter is still really nice for physical attackers because it nullifies Intimidate. Hypercutter means your attack stat can't be reduced. So it's nowhere near Clear Body territory, but it is still pretty useful. I would say it's definitely better than Early Bird. I would probably put this... I don't know if it's A tier. I think B sounds good to me. Again, in Kaizo, more often than not, you want to run a special attacker. Above Effect Spore. That sounds fair to me. I don't think it's as good as Nullifying Sand or Hail. I think Nullifying Chip Damage is a really good thing to have. But yeah, it's more useful than Effect Spore. But yeah, it's definitely not as good as Damp, and I'd say I put a lot of value on Airlock and Cloud9 personally. All right, Illuminate F. Illuminate is not only bad, it is actively impeding you. S tier. Illuminate's worse than Hustle. Illuminate is purely a bad thing. Immunity is really nice. I think Immunity is an easy A tier for me. Not having to worry about Poison is a big deal. Poison is just the worst status to deal with. It always is. Never having to deal with Poison is a big deal. Contact abilities are really, really nasty in Ironmon. So not having to play around Contact as much. No, this is for Kaizo. But even in Kaizo, being poisoned is really, really bad. Being poisoned is one of the worst things to deal with. So the question is, where does it go in A tier? I think Compound Eyes on the high end is better, but Immunity is consistently better. I almost am inclined to put this on the top of A tier. You think low A is fine? Low A? Okay. I mean, yeah, it is useless on poison Pokemon, but it's not actively harming you, even on those mons, and it's really strong otherwise. It's useless on steel and poison. Yeah, okay. I think it's probably in a good spot then. I think that's fine where it is. Let's do Insomnia quickly, because we've already done Early Bird and C. Insomnia is just better. Insomnia, you just cannot be put to sleep. So unlike Early Bird, which you wake up the first turn, Flash Fire negates burns from everything except for Tri Attack. Because you absorb fire moves, but Tri Attack can still burn you, and Effect Spore can still burn you, and Flame Body. So Flash Fire, you still can get burned in certain ways. I think Insomnia is significantly better than Early Bird. Insomnia means no rest. You can't use rest in Kaizo anyway. Low A. Yeah, I'd say it's worse than Immunity. I think Poison's much more devastating than Sleep, on average. But Sleep is a really annoying thing to deal with. You reckon B? I mean, it's definitely worse than Immunity. I mean, to be honest, it could be worse than Damp. You're I would say in my experience, you're way more likely to lose a run to, Stab Explosion or something than you are to being asleep. And again, I just find personally that I have a lot of Chesto Berries and Awakenings and stuff. I think I'd be inclined to put it either top of B tier or slightly below Damp. I might come back to that one. It is really good, though. All right, Inner Focus. This is the one where you can't flinch. Pretty unlikely to come in. What are you dealing with here? Bite, Extrasensory, like Stomp. Inner Focus never actively hurts you, but it's not gonna help you all that often either. D. Headbutt, yeah. I fake out. Fake out's not that bad. I'd be inclined to put this below Q Charm. Yeah, again, yeah, exactly. In Kaizo, you want to be faster most of the time. I would be inclined to put it here. I think Q Charm on tanks can be a little bit more beneficial. I don't think Chlorophyll and Blaze are going to be useful as often as Inner Focus. I think Inner Focus might get, you know, 1 or 2 instances of value in a run, maybe. Where's Wonder Guard? It's here in the invalid category. None of the, like, Wonder Guard's only on Shed, so it's pointless to put it in the tier list. And then these 4 aren't in the randomizer. Intimidate's an interesting one. So Intimidate only works on the first Pokemon, and you can't switch out in Kaizo, like, intentionally. So Intimidate's pretty bad, honestly. Like, yeah, it might help you set up on the first Mon. It never actively harms you, is the thing. C? Yeah, I think B would be a bit much. Whereabouts in C, though? But yeah, it's not B for Kaizo. Do you guys reckon it's better than Early Bird? I think it might be better than Early Bird. Bottom of C tier. You don't think it's better than Early Bird? You think it is? I just, like, because in Kaizo, setup wins in Kaizo. It works every time. It always actively is doing something. And setup wins Kaizo. So having the chance to lower the first Pokemon's attack stat so you can set up. I think in Kaizo, I would say Intimidate's better than Early Bird. I think with the chance to use setup, I think it's pretty solid. Alright, Keen Eye is good. Keen Eye is very, very good. It's nowhere near Compound Eye's territory. But not having to play around accuracy drops is really, really nice. I'm thinking low A, high B. Low A or high B. I'd say accuracy is far more devastating than sleep. So I think it's quite a bit above Insomnia. Low A, yeah, I agree. I think it's worse than Immunity. I think Immunity is really, really fantastic. But yeah, it's a fair chunk above Insomnia. Accuracy drops are one of the worst things in Kaizo. They completely ruin your plans for setup. I think it's in a good spot there. I think immunity across the whole run because of contact and stuff. Like, again, you want to be going first and sweeping most of the time, so accuracy might not be that big of a deal. But in the rare case you get smokescreen or something, it's really nasty. Levitate's good on a Crobat, brings you to the E4, I can confirm. Alright, Levitate is pretty solid. You know, Levitate, of course, on Flyers does nothing, but on a lot of Mons, it's good. Levitate on electric Mons makes them insane. It gives them like the Electros tier, no weaknesses kind of deal. I would put Levitate next to Flashfire. I think below Flashfire, but next to it sounds good. You see more fire moves. Fire moves are generally slightly scarier. But yeah, Levitate's really strong. It brings electric Pokemon online. Poison Pokemon become significantly better, and poison Pokemon are just really good anyway. You like immunity more than Levitate. Interesting. Not have to play around ground moves over never being poisoned. You guys think that? Yeah, okay. Yeah, not being poisoned is a big deal. Lightning Rod, F tier, absolutely correct. Lightning Rod is better than an Illuminate. Like, Lightning Rod doesn't actively harm you. Lightning Rod's just completely useless. It doesn't do anything. So actually, Lightning Rod would be here. Lightning Rod would be here then, wouldn't it? It doesn't actively harm you. The The only way it technically harms you is because it harms you in double battles, yeah. It harms you in double battles, and it's taking away your ability. So, top of F tier will do. Alright, Limber. Limber means you can never be paralyzed. Lightning Rod only makes Thunder accurate in double battles. So yeah, it doesn't do anything in single battles in Gen 3 at all. But yeah, they're right, Mel. It does actively harm you in double battles. So in the extremely rare instance that you go into a double battle and it's relevant, I think here's fine. All right, Limber, never being paralyzed. Between immunity and levitate. You reckon the same house? Low A. Yeah, again, not having to play around static or like effects ball, like contact and stuff. Limber's sometimes bad. Power can protect you from burn or poison. I'd say that's pretty fringe. Very high B for you. I personally would be inclined to put it here. I do really value Keen Eye. I do think you probably will get your accuracy lowered once or twice in a run, and lowered accuracy can be really frustrating. So it's going to be around this sort of area. It's nowhere near as good as immunity. Very high B for you, Mel. I think it's better than Insomnia. I think it's quite a bit better than Insomnia. I think I'm going to leave it there for now. Lowest AE. Yeah, lowered accuracy can be really, really devastating. Right, Liquid Ooze doesn't harm you. In the very rare case that you get like Leech Seeded or something, it actively damages the opponent. It doesn't stop you from taking damage, but it harms the opponent. I would be inclined to put this here, maybe. It's probably more likely to do something than Inner Focus. Yes, this will be the first video. Yeah, you still get hit, so it's not doing much for you. It just retaliates the damage. I think it's probably on average worse than Q Charm, because you very, very rarely have drained moves used against you. All right, Magma Armor means you can't be frozen. I get frozen all the time, but I'm a fringe case. Most people don't get frozen as often as I do. So freeze is the least likely status to deal with. You don't often deal with freeze. I would say this is a C. Yeah, S tier for me, but yeah. I would say this goes in C. I'd say this is high C. When freeze happens, freeze is really really annoying. But let's be honest, freeze happens so infrequently, you're probably going to have ice heals and Arspear berries just clogging up your bag. I'd put it here, I think. I think it's probably worse than Early Bird and Intimidate, because you're going to have ice heals. But yeah, I think it's still useful to have, so I think it's nice there. All right, Marvel Scale. When you are statused, you gain defense. Just below Guts, yeah, attack is better than defense. Offense is the best defense. So yeah, Marvel Scale is pretty easy. You don't want to be statused, but if you are going to be, having a little bit of extra defense is nice. So I think it's worse than Guts, probably. All right, Minus sucks. Minus doesn't harm you though. So Minus is there. Minus is just taking away an ability. But unlike Lightning Rod, that in double battles can be negative, Minus is just completely useless. What does the blue, yellow, and red mean? Not sure. Which one is best, plus or minus? Minus is better than plus. Arbitrarily. All right, Natural Cure, same deal. You can't use it in Kaizo. technically, if you get whirlwinded or roared, natural cure does proc. So it is better than minus and plus. It does do something in 1 in 10,000 cases. Team plus. All right, I've outed myself here as a minus person, so. All right, oblivious, cannot be infatuated. Infatuation happens. I would say infatuation rarely even happens, like in a run at all. Infatuation is one of the rarest statuses to deal with, because not only do they have to have that ability, they have to be the opposite gender, and you have to roll the 1 in 3. D, yeah, I'd say it's better than Q Charm, because this is confirmation bias, but when you're infatuated, you don't get to attack all the time. And when they're infatuated, they still get to attack. So just because of confirmation bias, I'm putting it above Q Charm. Overgrow. Overgrow goes in the same spot as Blaze. It's worse because fire moves are better. Own tempo is big. Own tempo for me is a big deal. I really rate own tempo. Being confused is super obnoxious. And being confused is a 50-50. You know, you're flipping coins to hit yourself. I think it's a really... yeah, it's not quite S. I think it's a really good A, though. Swagger and Flatter are free boosts, yeah. And in the rare chance you have, like, the Outrage combo or something, you could have a really powerful dragon move. Yeah, I would say it's better than Flashfire. I think it's really strong. Not a 50-50, yeah, we hit ourselves all the time. To the right of Levitate, you think? Under Compound Eyes? I think being confused is one of the most frustrating things in Ironmon. And confusion's particularly bad because you very, very rarely have person berries, like, built up. So you might have to drop a full heal just to get rid of confusion. Yeah, I was mad yesterday, Army. You barely hit yourself at all. I think you guys are right. I think right here. I think Compound Eyes has such a high end, I put it there. But I really rate own tempo. Alright, pickup is really difficult to say. Like, yeah, you might pick up a really fantastic item, but it procs 10% of the time. You can only proc it off of trainers, and your item pool might suck. And you're going to want to spend a lot of the run with berries attached. So I don't like pickup very much. S plus. D. I think pickup's probably a C for me. It does do something, but not very often at all. I would say bottom of C tier for me. It can give you run-defining items, but will it? I think I like it here. Very, very bottom of C tier. It might just pop off and give you something insane. Most of the time, it's going to give you a TM that you can't use or something. So I think it's fine there. Better than Drizzle or Drought? Really? What do you guys think about that? Better than Drizzle or Drought? It's your favorite ability? I've personally never popped off with pickups, so my opinion on it is skewed pretty low. No, you agree? No. I think it's so rare, to be honest. I think I'm going to leave it where it is. I think it's so unlike... Like, yeah, Drizzle and Drought always do something. Good or bad. Poison Point is worse than Flame Body. I'd say it's worse than Intimidate. Poison Point goes in here somewhere. Do you guys think Poison Point's better or worse than Early Bird? I think poisoning the opponent is far worse than burning them. Better than Early Bird? Okay. It's definitely not as good as Intimidate. Intimidate's very useful for setup and stuff. But yeah, it's nowhere as good as Flame Body or Effect Spore. Poisoning opponents just not that useful most of the time. Pressure's an interesting one. Pressure can be very useful for dealing with stallers. It covers you for shed sometimes. It helps you, if you don't have shed coverage. If they're spamming like soft-boiled or something, you can run through it quicker. It's not often going to be very useful because you want to be one-shotting stuff in Kaizo. So you want to spend most of your run. I would put this top of D tier. I would say this is the best D tier ability right now. It's very, very rarely going to do something. Low C, high D. Yeah, I think we'll go high D. I think that's fine. All right, Rain Dish. Rain Dish is probably... Rain Dish is better than Swift Swim and Chlorophyll because it heals you. And more often than not, you want to be faster in Kaizo. Rain Dish, to me, is probably better than Liquid Ooze, because healing yourself is more powerful than the enemy very rarely hurting themselves. What if you have Drizzle and Rain Dish? Better than Q-Charm? I think I put Rain Dish here. I think it's probably better than Oblivious, because you so rarely... You're going to see Rain more than you get Charmed. But it's definitely not as good as Pressure. Pressure has some function. Alright, this is a weird one. Rockhead. I've personally never had Rockhead and a recoil move. Recoil moves are very rare. Getting a recoil move and having Rockhead and the spread to make it work, we're talking about like once in 5,000 runs or something. Like, on the high end, it's nuts. Double edge, vault tackle. Yeah, it's exactly. It's amazing but unlikely. It's never actively harmful. I think it goes in C. I think to me it's pickup territory. I think it's here. On the very, very rare chance it comes online, it's useful, but it doesn't often come online. So I'd say it's probably slightly worse than pickup to me. Alright, Rough Skin. Rough Skin's pretty low. Rough Skin is worse than Poison Point. Worse than these. Worse than Guts. You do not want to be getting hit in Kaizo continuously, so Rough Skin's not going to do much for you. Yeah, I think you're right about D tier. I'd say it's worse than Rain Dish. I think getting healed through Rain Dish is better than Rough Skin. I think Rough Skin can go here. I think on the rare chance Rain Dish is doing something, like getting an active heal is nice. Very, very rarely are you know, in Kaizo, you don't want to be getting hit. So I think Rough Skin probably fits in here quite nicely. Runaway is pretty good in survival. And honestly, if you're like a slow mon, Runaway for like farming the step items in Mount Moon is okay. It's good for pivoting, it's good for scouting. So Runaway's an interesting one. It doesn't help you throughout the run, but I think if we classify this as a pivot ability, it's really useful. On slow mons, it lets them, you know, not burn through repels. It's good for pivoting, gets the run started. Yeah, I think B. Let's put it at the bottom of B. That is true. I mean, you can, Thomas. You can attack to see their speed. Which is more accurate than running away anyway. C max. You say defensive abilities are better than offensive abilities for Kaizo. I mean, often in Kaizo, you want to be sweeping. So it's not better than pickup, in your opinion? I guess we can put it here in like the extremely situational territory. It's only good at the start of the game. Let's put it here then, bottom of C. Let's put it bottom of C. It's situationally extremely useful, but it's like Rockhead. How often are you actually going to take advantage of it? Sandstream. Sand is more often than not going to be harmful to you. Yes, you might get a mon that's like steel or rock or something, in which case sand can be good. It is shed coverage. I think sand so infrequently is good. Low C, I wouldn't say it's D tier, because it does have some uses. In Kaizo, it's better than survival, because you can spam PCs, so it's not impossible. It is F on a lot of mons. I'll tell you what then, since it's probably a B tier ability on mons that don't get hit by it, and it's an F tier ability on most mons, it's going to go D or C. It's worse than Rain Dish to me. It's probably rough skin sort of area, in my opinion. Let's go here. Let's go below rough skin. Because rough skin's never harming you. Low D? I think here's nice. Like, more often than not, it's going to be an F tier. It really hurts you, but on the rare chance it's good, it can have its uses. Now, Sand Veil, on the other hand, Sand Veil gives you no damage from sand, and it increases your evasiveness. And Sand's a pretty obnoxious ability. This is pretty good. Not having to deal with chip, and the increased evasiveness, you know, it's probably a B. It's arguably... I don't think it's as good as Hypercutter. I think it might go here. Oops. I think Hypercutter is a little bit nicer. Between Cloud9 and Hypercutter. With Steel, it could be A. I don't... To me, it's not as good as Airlock and Cloud9, because they cover Hail as well. But increased evasiveness is nice. It's either above or below Hypercutter. What do you guys reckon? I think Hypercutter, you know, in the instance that you're playing a physical attacker, is really nice to have for intimidating stuff. Above? Above or below Hypercutter? Got a few people saying above. It does give evasiveness. Alright, let's go above. Evasiveness is good. Below, in your opinion? Well, some belows and above. Evasiveness is really nice to have. I mean, it's really hard to say. I'd say Hypercutter is better, because, you know, a lot of the time you're going to be a special attacker, so Sand Veil is more likely going to do something than Hypercutter. So I think it's fine where it is. Alright, here is a good one, guys. Serene Grace. That is an S. Serene Grace makes so many moves so much better. It is S tier. Like, it's so good. Water Veil, 40%... Water Pulse, 40% chance to confuse. Tri-Attack, 40% chance to status. Sacred Fire, 100% burn chance. Extrasensory, increased flinch chance. Serene Grace is so good. So good. I don't think it's as good as Clear Body, but I do think it's better, because Huge Power and Pure Power aren't going to get used very often. I think it's in a good spot right where it is there. Shed Skin is nutty. What if you don't get the moves? It's not harming you. So very, very rarely are you not going to have a move that benefits from Serene Grace. Most moves in the game could get something out of it. You know, whether it's Ancient Power, whether it's Signal Beam, or... I think it has a lot of use. I think Serene Grace is absolutely fantastic. Alright, Shed Skin is amazing. Shed Skin, I would put here. I still think not having your stats reduced is better. I think Clear Body is absolutely insane, but not having to play around statuses heavily is really, really nice. Shield Dust is even better. Shield Dust means secondary effects don't work on you, so confusion, poison. I think Shield Dust in Kaizo is better than Shed Skin. I think in Survival, Shed Skin's better. But I think in Kaizo, where you want to go PC a lot of the time anyway, Shield Dust is really fantastic. You think Serene is comparable with Compound Eyes? It does fit the mold where it is. Okay, I think you changed my mind. I think we'll put it here. I think it's better than Compound Eyes. I think that's a good shout. Shield Dust better than Clear Body. It is really, really crazy how good Shield Dust is. Shield Dust prevents a lot of cases where Clear Body would trigger. Yeah, all secondary. Yeah, you're right. It covers you against status and yeah, it does cover a lot of stuff. You are correct. Yeah, Shield Dust is fantastic. It really is. Soundproof, easy S tier. Soundproof is fantastic. I'm personally almost inclined to put Soundproof here. Soundproof is anti-Perisong, hyper voice, lots and lots of status drops like growl and metal sound, no supersonic. It's so good. Yep, sing, grass, whistle. Soundproof is just fantastic. I don't think it's as good as Shield Dust. I don't think it's as good as Shield Dust. I think it's worse than Clear Body as well. It's in S tier for me, 100%. Like, Perisong is just so devastating. Like, you can just lose runs to Perisong so easily. I think I like it here. I like it more than Shedskin, because Shedskin procs 1 in 3 times, and in Kaizo you're going to be PCing most of the run. Never having to play around Perisong is huge. Yeah, to me, I've lost to Perisong so many times. I think anyone that's played the game a ton, just loathes Perisong. I like it there. All right, Speed Boost goes here for me. Speed Boost can make certain mons insanely good. But you have to remember, I've ran mons that start slow, and you get Destiny bonded on the first turn. So Speed Boost is never going to do anything bad for you. It can turn an averagely fast mon into going first every turn, which is really nice in Kaizo for sweeping. But yeah, I think to me, on average, Compound Eyes and Serene Grace are going to do more things. So I like Speed Boost here. Yeah, again, yeah, Speed Boost has some really cool functions. But I think it's good here. All right, Static. Static is kind of crap, to be honest. Like, paralyzing the opponent's kind of useless. Like, only a 1 in 4 chance. You generally want to be faster in Kaizo. They only get paralyzed 1 in 4 times. You're probably going to kill them before it happens. Static is significantly worse. Yeah, it's better than Poison Point. It's definitely in the same sort of tier as Poison Point. Below Flame Body. I mean, Poison Point's pretty bad because it does so little damage across the fight. I would be inclined to put it here. I'd be inclined to put it there. I still think Intimidate is better because setting up is such a big deal. I'm thinking about you go to the E4 and you intimidate the first mon you set up. Like, I think Static, you're already getting hit to proc it. There's a 1 in 4 chance it does something. Thank you for letting me know, Pablo. Stench. Stench is F. No, Stench is here. Stench doesn't harm you. In this gen, Stench doesn't do flinch or anything. So Stench goes... In fact, Stench helps you get away from wild Pokemon. So Stench goes here. Stench is better than minus and plus. Sticky hold. I feel like I just never see sticky hold. Cannot lose its held item due to a Pokemon's attack. It just never works, dude. Never does anything. There's no like bug bite or anything in this. Sticky hold's very, very marginally useful. Happy Sunday, Lay. Above stench, yeah. I've honest to God never seen it do anything. This is Gen 3, yeah. I've never seen Sticky Hold do anything in Gen 3. Let's put it here. I've never made use of it. This is a Kaizo ability tier list for Generation 3. Sturdy in Gen 3 only saves you from Okos. That might save you against the champion. It's a bad ability the rest of the time. I think it goes here. I think you're more likely to get flinched than you are OHKO'd. You're very, very rarely going to use Chlorophyll, Blaze, or Overgrow. I think it's fine there. Suction Cups is you can't be switched out. Again, it's not really going to do anything. I would put this here. It's probably going to do something more often than Sticky Hold, but it's very rarely going to do anything. Swarm is worse than Blaze. It's better than Overgrow in my opinion. Like Bug covers some decent things. But yeah, Swarm, Blaze, and Overgrow are all peas in a pod. Pretty useless. Swift Swim. Swift Swim is the same as Chlorophyll. I think it's better. Slightly. They're very, very much the same thing, but just confirmation bias. I see Drizzle more, so that's the reason I put it there. Synchronize. If you get status, you give them the status as well. Synchronize is never a bad thing to have, I can think of. I guess if you're trying to like purposefully status them, it can be. If you're like using like a sleep mon or something, I don't know. It's pretty bad. I'd say B. I'd say it's worse than Flame Body to me. High D, low C. It's very situational. I don't think it's as good as Guts or Marvel Scale, personally. Because Marvel Scale and Guts, you're statused, and then you're getting benefit from the status throughout the fight. Synchronize is a one and done. So I think it's low C. Synchronize is a one and done benefit. Marvel Scale, Pickup, Rockhead. I think it goes very bottom of C tier. Like we're putting Runaway here because it can be useful for pivoting and for slow mons in Mount Moon. Rockhead and Pickup can have high ends, rarely. Guts and Marvel Scale to me are better than Synchronize. I think that's a really good one. Ice and Fire offensively are really, really devastating. I think this is easily A tier. I mean, Thick Fat's always good. There's no typing in the game that is immune to fire, right? So it's always at least going to give you less damage from Fire and Ice. And Fire and Ice are very common and strong moves. So Thick Fat's A tier, 100%. Question is where. Thick Fat makes so many Pokemon viable. Makes Grass Pokemon, it makes Venusaur really good. Brings online like Flygon and Scizor. It still works with Scizor. I think it might go here. Below Flashfire. it's really tough. Better than Flashfire. It's really hard to say. I do think Ice offensively is really nasty. It is I'm inclined to move Speed Boost down. Having had more time to think about it, I think Speed Boost goes down to here. I think Speed Boost just so rarely gets value. Thick Fountain Grassmons is S tier. It's S tier on Grassmons, on Dragons, on... It's just really good. I think I'm agreeing that's better than Flashfire. Halving the damage from fire and ice is really, really good. I still value Own Tempo extremely highly. I like it here. It's a really fantastic ability. It's never bad. But yeah, I think in Kaizo it's a good spot here. Alright, Torrent is, as you say, Johnny, it's better than Blaze, because water is generally slightly weaker than fire moves, like offensively. So bringing online things like Water Pulse can be good. Truant S tier. Yeah, let's just put Truant where it belongs. Truant is the very worst ability in the game. No ability harms you more than Truant. Trace is a really interesting one. Let's do Trace last. White Smoke is the same as Clear Body, so it goes here. Alright, we've got some really interesting ones now. We've got some very interesting ones at the end here. Let's do Vital Spirit. Prevents the Pokemon from falling asleep. So Vital Spirit is just Insomnia then, right? I think Insomnia might be somehow slightly better. I'm not sure. Insomnia with a cooler name? Alright, Insomnia's better then. Alright, these are very interesting ones. Alright, Water Veil means you can't be burned. It's not as good as Immunity. It's better than Limber. I think I put it here. I think Burn is often worse than being paralyzed. I still really rate Keen Eye. Not having your accuracy reduced is a big deal. So I think Water Veil fits nicely here. Water Veil does make you immune to burn from things like Effect Spore and Tri Attack as well. Alright, Volt Absorb is definitely below Flashfire. It's, you know, situationally on like Gyarados or something, Volt Absorb's insane. But fire moves on average in Gen 3 are so much more devastating. Water Absorb above Flashfire. Volt Absorb's definitely below Flashfire. It's still really nice to have. We're going to do Trace last. Trace is a really interesting one. Water Absorb is the worst of the three. I definitely think Flashfire out of the three absorptions is the best. Fire moves are just such a problem in Gen 3. There's so many strong fire moves. I think water, like, a lot of the mons that really benefit from Water Absorb have other problems. So, like, Water Absorb might help you with, like, you know, Golem or something, but then Golem's still 4 times weak to grass. So, I think Water Absorb's definitely worse than Flashfire. That is true. Water doesn't typically status you besides, like, Water Pulse. Water Absorb gives health. That's true. I think Water Absorb's a tough one. I am almost inclined to put it here. So it's either slightly better or slightly worse than levitate. It's somewhere in this region here. I don't think it's as good as immunity. Immunity is just consistently fantastic. Slightly better. It does heal you. Yeah, it does heal you. Okay. You reckon levitate's better? You see water moves more frequently, in my experience, than ground moves. Where's lightning rod? Right down here in F tier. Alright, final ability, and it's a doozy. Trace. Trace. I personally think used well, Trace can be really good. If you scout every wild Pokemon and you're running the Ironmon tracker, it will automatically update the abilities for you. Trace is, extremely infrequently going to devastate you with Truant, but, that's a very rare case. It's definitely nowhere near as good as things that prevent status. Because, you might know they have a contact ability, but you might not have a move to play around it anyway. Next to Runaway for scouting. I think this is a really tough one. I think Color Change has a much better chance to be good than Trace. It's definitely in this category here. It's in the category of Pickup, Rockhead, Runaway, and Synchronize, where it can be amazing, it can be useless. I think it probably goes to the bottom, to be honest. Trace can actively harm you. I think bottom of C makes sense to me. Trace can actively be bad for you. You'd put it above Runaway. It is good for scouting. It's much better than Runaway in your opinion. It is nice for scouting. Worse than Synchronize? Man, this is a tough one. We're talking about really fringe cases on this. Runaway does lose value. Trace can theoretically be good throughout the run, so that is true. I'm pretty happy with where we're at with this tier list. I do wonder if we should move Synchronize, though. Do you guys think we should promote Synchronize to higher than Trace? That might be the one change I want to make here, is promote Synchronize to higher than Trace. You think Intimidate deserves to be the bottom of B tier? Intimidate in terms of setup is really strong. It's never a bad thing to have. Okay, so these will be the only changes we'll debate. I like Intimidate where it's at. Do you guys think Intimidate should be bottom of B, or do you like it top of C? I personally like it at the top of C. You like it at the top of C? I just think it's in a good spot where it is. Alright, good. And then I'm starting to think we should move Synchronize to higher than Trace, but what do you guys think of that? I'm wondering if we should put Synchronize above Trace and Runaway. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's probably in a good spot here above Trace and Runaway. So I think I'm sleeping on Synchronize a tiny little bit. That's fine, guys. Just ignore them. They want attention, so just ignore them. So the only one I can see some people not happy with is Pickup. There's some people saying Pickup's not high enough. I think pickup is so infrequently good. I like it where it is. Pickup before guts. I definitely like pickup worse than color change on average. Before guts. You guys are talking about really, really, really like fringe cases here. We're talking about really fringe cases. It will be used more than guts. All right. I think that'll do. So I think that'll do. So yeah, I mean, battle armor and shell armor are just the best abilities. No, like, don't at me. These two are, you know, very rarely going to get any use because they're only good for like Sableye and Beedrill and Delcatty and more wild and stuff. But when they're good, they're really, really good. Yeah, I like the way we've done this. I think you know, we've had to try and equalize it around like situations. It's extremely situational, some of these abilities, but I like where we've left this. I'm going to put this in our Discord, so if you guys want to like check it out or like make your own one, feel free if you disagree. But I'm pretty happy with where we've left this.